Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How's the world treating ya? Did you miss me and my videos? I know for certain you have. Today, we're going to be talking about the Empire State, the state of New York. I last visited the state of New York in the year 2017, and as you probably guessed it, I was only in New York City. So I was only in Manhattan and Brooklyn. I have yet to visit Niagara Falls. Well, I probably will visit it from Canada's side. I'll explain later. But I have not been to any other place in the state of New York. In fact, I don't really think anyone visits the state of New York other than New York City or Niagara Falls. New York has more than just New York City, and that's what I'm here to talk about. I'm going to be talking about different cities and towns in the state of New York, particularly ones that people live in rather than visit. And in this case, as the title suggests, I'm going to be looking at the worst places to live in New York. Yes, New York State has a lot of great places, both cities and towns, to live in. However, no state is perfect, and this is one such example. I'm going to be looking at the worst places to live in the Empire State. With that being said, sit back, relax, and watch my 5 worst cities and towns in the state of New York. Number 5, Niagara Falls. While many of you know this place for the waterfall it was named after, Niagara Falls, the most famous waterfall in the North American continent, and one of the most famous and iconic waterfalls in the entire world, the city of Niagara Falls, New York, is the exact opposite of the waterfall itself. As a matter of fact, Niagara Falls, New York is the second most dangerous place to live in the state. It has the 3rd highest violent crimes and the 6th highest property crimes in the entire state. On the bright side, however, it does have a lot of leisure and activities to offer. After all, it is home to one of the many wonders of the world. On top of that, it has a lot of bars and restaurants, and schools are above average in the city. Now, as a result, I'm only giving it the number 5 spot. It's not that bad of a place to live in, or visit even. However, it's definitely not the most pleasant place in the state of New York, and you best look to live elsewhere. And if visiting Niagara Falls, you best visit it from the side of Canada rather than in the side of the U.S. It'd be better to go to Niagara Falls, Canada, rather than Niagara Falls, New York, if you're ever planning on visiting Niagara Falls. Number 4, Buffalo. One thing you should know about this city, it is the exact opposite of safe. Buffalo ranks as the 3rd most dangerous city in the state of New York with the 2nd highest violent crimes. On top of that, WIVB, the local station, reported in 2012 that Buffalo ranked as the 10th most dangerous city in the United States as a whole. While that report was a decade ago, it doesn't look like much has changed, as Money Inc. and Nick Johnson both said that this city was one of the worst in the state of New York, particularly because of crime. It doesn't look good on education either, as public schools are rated below average and high school dropout rates in the city are high. The weather here sucks too. If you've been paying attention in the news, you should know that there was a snowstorm recently in Buffalo, but even without the snowstorm, the snow here is just terrible. It's just unbearable, even for New Yorkers, especially taking into consideration that Buffalo is on Lake Erie. And if you know one thing about the Great Lakes, the weather for the cities on the Great Lakes is pretty bad. And honestly, you're just not going to be able to handle the snow. And even though the rest of New York does have a lot of snow during the winter time, including Manhattan and Brooklyn, it's got to be a joke compared to Buffalo, New York. Yeah, Buffalo is not the type of place to go to if you hate cold weather, if you hate snow like I do. On top of that, the unemployment rate here isn't very good. Buffalo relied on a lot of manufacturing jobs, and a lot of them have left the area. Unemployment rate is just one of the worst in the state. On the bright side, Buffalo does have a zoo, Frank Lloyd Wright's Martin House, and the Erie County Botanical Gardens, but honestly, none of them were worth your life or worth freezing yourself in this cold temperature to go visit. Number 3, Binghamton. This town, which I cannot lie to, I have difficulty pronouncing, but this town, close to the state lines between New York and Pennsylvania, has the 2nd highest unemployment rate in the state of New York at 10.4%. Unless you've already landed a job here, do not come to Binghamton looking for a job. It also has the 4th highest crime rate in the state of New York. Every single day there is at least one violent crime, and that's quite high for a city that only houses about 45,000 residents. Speaking of population, the population of this city, or this town should I say, is on the decline, and it's been on the decline since 2017. And one thing that recently came to my attention, when former NYC Mayor Bill de Blasio was in office back in like 2019, 2020, he had a program where he paid the homeless money to move out of the city of New York. He paid the homeless and even paid for their transportation if they accepted the deal to leave NYC. And the deal involved them settling somewhere else, particularly another city or town in the state of New York. Binghamton just so happened to be one of them. And it really infuriated the residents when the homeless started moving there, when they realized that the homeless from NYC were coming into Binghamton. Because that town already had a lot of problems. I could totally understand and feel the frustration of these residents. On the bright side, it does have above average schools, wide range of activities to enjoy, and community diversity. But honestly, unless you already have a job landed here, this is a town that's best left alone. Number 2, Utica. This city, east of Syracuse, is just downright impoverished. The average household income in the city is only about $17,500. So a lot of people who live in Utica are living on or below the poverty line. It is the 7th most dangerous place to live in the state, and that median housing value in the state is only about $95,900. You may look at this as a good thing. However, if housing prices are usually that low, there's a reason for it, and that reason is never good. In this case, it's because nobody wants to live in Utica. In addition to the poverty and the high crime rate, this place is just downright depressing. I mean, if you drive through or just stop by in the city and look around you, you will see what I'm talking about. This place will remind you a lot of Detroit or Flint. A lot of the houses are out of shape or look like they're in disrepair. The roads are terrible, and there's been a lot of contamination recently. A lot of houses have been shipping out lead paint, and some of the pipes are made out of lead. Utica is one of those cities that's best left alone. And number 1, Newburgh. This city has everything that a bad city has, from crime rate to unemployment rate. It's not looking very good in terms of crime rate. It is ranked as less safe than 91% of all U.S. cities, and is the 17th most dangerous place to live in the state of New York. On top of that, unemployment rate isn't looking so good at 6.6%. That's pretty high. And traffic in the city is just, don't even. A lot of people who live in Newburgh work on the other side of the river, so the bridge that connects both cities together is often going to be crowded during rush hours. On top of that, the city is just overall depressing. Boarded up housing, broken streets, empty lots, you name it. It has everything that Detroit and Flint would be described as. This city is essentially the Detroit or the Flint of the Empire State. Newburgh also has a notorious reputation in the media. It is ranked as the 4th worst city in the state of New York on Money Inc., and Nick Johnson ranked it as number 2 on his 10 places in New York you should never move to. You know you've done something very wrong if you're a city that ends up on that ranking on those lists. And that concludes my 5 worst places to live in New York State video. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I do understand that I did miss certain places that should have been on this list, such as Albion, Rochester, and Syracuse. Unfortunately, for the time being, this video and other videos I'm making are meant to be limited to 5 entries. Hopefully, further down the line, I'll make videos with more entries. Hopefully, no guarantees. And anyways, if you did enjoy this video, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel, and I'll leave links to some of the sources that helped me put together this video on some of the worst places to live in the state of New York, both articles and YouTube videos. And stay tuned for more videos in general. Feel free to follow me on TikTok. I guarantee you'll enjoy quite a bit of the shorts that I've been posting there lately. And have a wonderful and safe holiday season.